We finally got the trailer for the Punisher special that's going to come out on May 12th.
So let me tell you something.
Let me ask you something. Let me tell you something, man. I tell you what. I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna tell you a few things, and you're gonna listen to me.
Disney, I hope and pray, let the Punisher punish in his own special. Do not make this a sob story, and do not sideline the Punisher in his own special. Please. Like you sidelined Daredevil in his own show. Because I really like the first season of the Punisher show, but the second season, it's just okay. The main problems with it are basically the show's gonna end, so they couldn't do anything else with it, and they had to rush the storylines. But I have one gripe with Jon Bernthal's Punisher, and that's every time he gets to become the Punisher finally, they change his story. And now he's not the Punisher, and then he becomes the Punisher again, and then he's not again. So all I want to see is the Punisher punish people. Bring us Netflix level violence and gore. Make it Punisher. The Netflix Punisher show, when it first came out, was really, really cool. It was new, it was different, and it was pretty exciting to see the Punisher after so many years of not having anything with him. And I really like Jon Bernthal's Punisher. That first season was really good. It really interested me, especially being at a younger age. It's a little slow in some parts, but the action was pretty cool, and the whole story was pretty good to see him put the skull back on. It was really entertaining to see, but the problem with that show is it takes so long to set up the Punisher, and by the time he's wearing the skull, it's over. The second season wasn't as good. It was clearly rushed because Netflix knew that the story was going to be ending because of the problems they were having with Disney, so they just had to hurry up and kind of finish up plot lines. So that kind of ruined the overall show, which was just unfortunate. And when Disney said they were going to be using these characters again, I was excited, you know? I'm like, okay, we're going to get a reboot. We're going to get a Punisher show. Maybe we'll get a movie. But it's been 9 years since we've had something that he's the central character in. And it just feels like they kind of drop him in and abuse his presence in a lot of these other shows, and they make him a glorified extra at this point. I mean, his greatest scenes are for sure in Netflix's Daredevil, but the show is pretty cool in its own way. The story gets kind of repetitive after the second season, but you know, I'm just glad we got it at all. So I want the Punisher to be able to be the Punisher in his own special. I want super graphic fight scenes. I want him raging. He needs to be wearing his outfit, and he needs to be getting that Netflix level violence that we're used to. Because that's what made his character so good in the Daredevil series. I mean, that prison break fight sequence is one of the greatest Marvel fight sequences of all time, and there's no doubt about it. So I need that level of violence back for the Punisher. And please, don't sideline him in his own special. If he's not the central character, though, in his own story, I would be actually furious. And I doubt that's what Disney's going to do, but I wouldn't look past it. And my thinking is, you know, they only have an hour to tell the story, so he's gonna be most of the screen time for sure, but it's hard for me to look past because I'm just starting to not trust Disney with these characters anymore. And for example, Daredevil Born Again, I know everybody loves it, but I need to gripe for a second. The show actually irritates me. It's called Daredevil, so in my head, I'm thinking it's going to be Daredevil as the central character, but you barely see him on the screen. Season 1, I really enjoyed, but Season 2 so far, there's way too many subplots. It's overstuffed, and honestly, I don't even care about half these characters. There's Dr. Glenn, who's freaking out and having these trauma flashbacks from Muse, but she isn't even really doing anything. She's just there, and now she's going to become the girl Muse. And every time Karen Page is on my screen, I feel like I'm watching a Mary Jane mission from one of the Spider-Man games. And then there's the Kristen McDuffie lady, I'm pretty sure that's what her name is, and she's basically replacing Foggy Nelson, and she's not doing as interesting of a job. And then you have the BB Report girl who pops up on screen with her side plot every single time I think I'm about to see Daredevil again. Then we also have the new White Tiger story plot being built, and you have the Vanessa Fisk side story where she's kind of running her own mob thing going. So it's just like, damn it, man. Where is Daredevil? And that's what I really hope they don't do with the Punisher. Can I just watch him be the Punisher for an hour and take out as many criminals as possible and just watch him rage? That's all I want to see. Especially if it's going to be called a special presentation, I better see the Punisher in his special presentation, because they're dropping the ball with Daredevil in my opinion. We've got 4 episodes out, and it literally feels like I've seen him for 30 minutes of screen time in those 4 episodes. Should the Punisher special have been an hour long, or should it have been a TV show, or should it have been a feature film? What do y'all think? Because it's really making me wonder. If it was even a 2-hour long special, that would give you a little bit more time to kind of build up his story if what you're going to do is throw him back into being the Punisher after him not wanting to do it for a while. Or should they have done just a full-length feature film? Because if you look at Daredevil once again, we're 4 episodes in and Daredevil has barely done anything. And that's 4 hours of content and he's barely progressed. And I know the pacing of TV shows is different than movies, but that's what makes it a concern. If it's a special presentation, is it going to feel rushed? Should they have just made it a 2-episode event? Should they have even made it a miniseries? And I think they really missed out on an opportunity not making it a feature-length film, because I would have gone and seen it on the big screen. We haven't seen the Punisher on the big screen in his own film in decades. And I'm just getting to the point where I don't know if Disney can be trusted with these characters anymore, because if you look at the past film releases and their reviews and how well they're doing, that's kind of reinforcing my thinking. But Jon Bernthal gives me a little bit of hope. He's said multiple times in interviews he takes the character very seriously and he wants to protect it.
It's a character that's resonated deeply with members of law enforcement and the military, and that's something I take super seriously, along with the comic book fans.
And I don't even know how much control he has or he says he has when it comes to the character. But, he's really respectful of our first responders, our veterans, and he cherishes the fact and knows the meaning of the symbol to a lot of those guys. And, when he talks about the character, he's usually staying pretty truthful to it, and he seems like it really matters to him. And I know it says he's one of the writers, so it's like, how much creative control does he actually have? I hope a good amount. And him and the director also worked on King Richard together, so they have that chemistry kind of built up. So I'm just hoping they can keep it authentic to the character, and it doesn't become this PG, downplayed, typical Disney project where you take away the actions or you take away his guns, just like they did with Indiana Jones, for example, where they don't let him wear his gun belt, or with Deadpool, where his guns are either holstered or not even in his holsters for most of the movie. And I get it, it's difficult for them, because the whole premise of his character is he kills people, so it's hard to give him redeemable qualities and for Disney to faithfully adapt the character. But that's what we don't want. We don't want it to be Disney-fied. We want to see the Punisher punish people.
One badge. Two badge. Penny and dime.
This is going to suck so bad if this special presentation is Jon Bernthal's Punisher once again trying not to be the Punisher and then having to re-find a reason to become the Punisher. Because after 9 years of him being the Punisher, we have really only gotten 2 storylines with this character, and he has not been developed nearly as much as he should have been. For example, he appears in Netflix's Daredevil, full Punisher mode, gets captured, goes to prison, gets out of prison, and becomes the Punisher again. He leaves the show, he gets his own show, he's not the Punisher anymore after killing the people who killed his family, and he gets dragged back into his former life and has to become the Punisher again. Then he finally starts becoming the Punisher again, and then the season ends. And in season 2, we pick up with him on the road, not the Punisher anymore, and then Jigsaw, his old buddy, draws him back out and he has to become the Punisher again. And that series basically ends with him becoming the Punisher again, and that summarizes the whole show. And then he comes back in Daredevil Born Again. He's kind of the Punisher, but he's not really the Punisher, and then he gets brought back out to help Daredevil, and then he's the Punisher again. And then he disappears. But they did say a lot of his scenes had to get cut because there was filming problems. Give a clear story. What do you guys want to do with him? Now you have the Spider-Man trailer come out. He's clearly the Punisher again. So this takes me into, where is this all in the timeline for his character? Because the synopsis for his new special is this. Frank Castle searches for meaning beyond revenge, but then an unexpected force pulls him back into the fight. And I don't know about y'all, but to me, that sounds exactly like the continuous story they keep using with his character.
Looks very, similar.
The same thing that we've seen over and over again. So besides that, the real question is, where does this fall into place in his story and the broad MCU timeline as a whole? So it's just becoming confusing, because the MCU in general is becoming confusing. We can't keep track of everything that's going on, which if you're a new viewer and you're excited to watch this, you're not going to have any idea of where to start to understand any kind of timeline. You can't just turn on a movie anymore and watch it. You won't know what's going on. Now you need to watch Daredevil Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, Daredevil Born Again. Then you gotta watch The Punisher show. And then you have to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day when that comes out. So it's just like, where is this gonna take place in the timeline? And I know there's videos out there explaining the timeline and where we're kind of at right now in the MCU, but the problem is the normal viewer is not showing up understanding all of those things. They're most likely not watching those explanation videos. They're just showing up to see their movie with their friends, or they're coming with their kids. So it's just like, where's the special going to take place in the timeline? And now you have Wilson Fisk, who's the mayor in Daredevil Born Again. So is it like in between No Way Home and Brand New Day? Is it after it? Is it during Born Again when his special takes place? Is it after his special where it takes place? It's really just becoming too much. So in his special, it needs to be clear on where we're at in the timeline and when it takes place. And the only thing I can think of is maybe it's before he appears in Daredevil Born Again because he has his beard. So just too much has to make sense. It's becoming way too confusing to keep track of, and it has been confusing for years because it's continuing to get worse. But to wrap it all up, I really just hope the special is good when it comes out. Make the Punisher punish again. Let him be the Punisher, because the whole premise of the Punisher is he's so damaged from his family dying, he can't stop killing, and he won't change his mindset because he can't. So to just keep redoing the same story over and over again is getting old, but all we can do is wait and see. Are y'all excited? What are some of the biggest fears you have? Would you have preferred a feature film or another miniseries? Let me know what you guys think down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Tell you what, you got walkers all around you. They're in the woods.